Dear students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. Today, we are going to discuss on Ocean Thermal Energy Conversion, which is commonly known as OTEC. From this module, you will be able to understand what is OTEC, that is Ocean Thermal Energy Conversion, what is its working principle and how to harness this energy, what are the key components of an OTEC plant, what are the different types of OTEC systems, what are the merits and demerits of the OTEC plant. There are different forms of ocean energy forms like waves, tides, marine currents, and there is a thermal gradient. This thermal gradient is used for the OTEC conversion. Here, the OTEC is directly related with the solar energy, or you can say that it is based on the absorption of solar radiation in the water. This is the gradient development between the surface water and the bottom water. The surface of ocean has a higher temperature than if you go deeper down into the sea. The absorption of solar radiation causes a moderate temperature gradient to develop in water from the top surface to the bottom of ocean. Look at this figure. In this figure, at the x-axis you have the temperature in degrees centigrade and in the y-axis you have depth in meters. The sun warms the surface seawater to an extent that all the energy is captured in a region up to 100 meter in thickness near the surface. This is called mixed layer since wind and wave actions cause the temperature and salinity to be uniform in this layer. That's why the temperature difference is not so prominent. As we go deeper down into the ocean, the water becomes colder. A huge amount of cold water exists at depth around 1000 meter, which is due to accumulation of ice cold water that has melted from the polar regions. The two bodies of warm water from the surface and cold water from the deep can be used to run OTEC cycle for generating the power. Especially in the tropical waters, the difference between temperatures at the surface and that at the bottom at around 1000 meter water depth is as high as 20 degrees centigrade. This difference in temperature or thermal gradient can be used to harness energy and it is called OTEC in short. So, there is a scope for OTEC in Indian Ocean or in our country. A minimum temperature of 20 degrees centigrade is required between source and sink so that heat engine can effectively operate to generate power. Let's see a brief history of this OTEC. In 1870, Jules Verne introduced the concept of OTEC in his novel 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. But Jacques d'Arsenval and his student Jacques Claude were the pioneers of OTEC. Claude built the first onshore OTEC plant in 1930 in Matanzas, in Cuba. The first successful offshore plant producing net power was Mini OTEC in Hawaii in 1979. Subsequently, several studies around the world have been conducted for various complexities involved. Saga University in Japan has been working on the thermal cycle optimization in the laboratory for several years. Similarly, United States Department of Energy has been funding activities on OTEC R&D with industry. Currently, plants which have been installed are Réunion Island in France, installed in 2012 with a capacity of 15 kilowatt, Kumejima, Japan by Saga University and Genesis in 2013 with a capacity of 100 kilowatt, Hawaii in USA by Mackay Ocean Engineering in 2015 with a capacity of 105 kilowatt. India had made attempts in 2000 and nearby that time to set up a 1 megawatt floating bar mounted plant offshore. Let's see what are the components of an OTEC system. The major components of an OTEC system are heat exchangers, turbine, seawater pumps, cold water conduit, platform, station keeping or mooring, data acquisition and control system. Let's see one by one. Heat exchangers are of shell and tube or plate type. Generally, Plate heat exchangers are more suitable for this application of OTC since they are more compact than shell and tube exchangers. Here, in these heat exchangers, one of the side has seawater and the other has the working fluid. Hence, the plate material needs to be compatible with seawater as well as working fluid. For ammonia and seawater, possible materials are stainless steel and titanium. The parameters influencing heat exchanger design include temperature of intake water and that of the water leaving the heat exchanger. The losses inside the heat exchanger also contribute towards the performance. The constraint is this small temperature gradient of 20 to 12 degrees Celsius, which is available for the complete OTC cycle. Turbine. Generally, axial and radial turbines of single or multiple stages are used. The pressure ratio across the turbine is dictated by the working fluid, and speed of the turbine is important from the generator's perspective. The efficiency of the turbine generator plays an important role in the overall efficiency of power generation. Seawater pumps. Large volumes of seawater are required to be pumped up for the OTC cycle. Generally, the losses, especially in the long cold water conduit, are mostly due to frictional losses. Thus, the pumps required are high discharge and low head pumps. The power requirement of the pumps governs the net power generated in the OTEC cycle. Cold water conduit is another component. It's the most complex and challenging component of the OTEC cycle. An offshore floating plant will need to be positioned in deep waters with a long conduit hanging vertically down or supported in some configuration to draw cold water continuously from depth of around 1000 meters. The conduit has to be designed for loads due to waves and currents and also for installation and deployment scenarios. As the rating becomes larger and larger, the size of the conduit becomes very big and is known to be the most complex unit in the entire system. Platform. When land-based or shelf-mounted plants are not possible, a floating platform is required to support the process equipment as well as the conduit to draw the cold water. Various platform configurations include barges, semi-submersible, spars, etc. The platform design is critical because it has to be an all-weather one, and if it is directly supporting the conduit, forces induced by it due to environmental conditions on the conduit can lead to high stresses in the conduit. The other component is station keeping or mooring. A floating platform needs to be kept in position or at station, else the cold water conduit connected to it may start drawing warm water due to vessel drift. Moorings have to be designed to be all-weather for this purpose. Data acquisition and control. This component has the dependence on flow and temperature of cold and warm seawater. Hence, data acquisition system coupled with suitable instruments like pressure and temperature transmitters, flow meters, etc. are essential along with this one. Automatic control may also be required in the working fluid regime in case of temperature fluctuation. Essentially, OTEC converts a low-grade heat source into electricity by using a thermodynamic cycle. The efficiency of the cycle is determined by the Carnot cycle and is generally around 7 to 8%, which is for an ideal reversible heat engine. However, in reality, heat exchangers, turbine, pumps, generator, etc. contribute to large losses and hence efficiency is much lower than the ideal one. Coming to the different types of OTEC system. This can be classified into two types, open cycle and closed cycle. Open cycle, the working fluid is vented out after the use. And in the closed cycle, refrigerant which is used is recirculated in the closed loop to vaporize and drive the turbine. There are some hybrid cycles which combine the features of both open and closed cycle systems. Let's see in detail about this open cycle. The working of an open cycle OTEC plant is shown in the figure. The warm water from the top surface is evaporated to obtain low pressure steam by using a flash evaporator. You can see in the picture. maintained at partial vacuum, as water can evaporate at the lower temperature when pressure is lower than atmospheric pressure. The low pressure steam obtained from flash evaporator is expanded in a turbine to extract mechanical energy. The steam after energy removal in turbine is condensed into water in a condenser, which is cooled by cold water drawn from the depths in the ocean. So, one way to use the open cycle is to run surface seawater through vacuum, and the steam generated is used to run a turbine. The vapor is condensed using deep sea water to create fresh water. Let's see closed cycle. You can see in the figure, in this cycle, warm surface water is used to evaporate a low boiling point refrigerant. Commonly used refrigerant are ammonia. You can also use freon, and the refrigerant vapor is made to flow through the turbine to extract energy. The vapor coming out from the turbine after performing work is cooled and condensed in a condenser cooled by cold water pumped from the ocean depths. Such plant is much compact in size and less costly compared to open cycle OTEC. The basic requirements for a candidate or the refrigerant in a closed system are: it should be having low boiling point, low volume of the fluid per kilowatt of power produced, high heat transfer characteristics, environmental acceptability, acceptable cost. Most refrigerants could be used in OTEC cycle, but I told you in general ammonia is popularly considered for the closed loop one. In this cycle, a fluid with this low boiling point is used to rotate the turbine to generate power by using warm surface seawater to vaporize the fluid. Subsequently, cold deep seawater condenses the vapor back to the liquid state, and this liquid is recirculated in the closed loop to vaporize and drive the turbine, which you have already seen in the figure. Thermodynamically, for converting thermal energy to mechanical energy, cycles used generally are Rankine cycle, Kalena cycle. You have another one also, Uehara cycle, which is developed in Japan, is also used as a cycle for the conversion of thermal energy to mechanical energy. Coming to the advantages of OTEC. The plant can supply steady power without any fluctuation in all the vagaries of weather. The power output does not change from season to season. It's not in case of wave or tides. But in the case of OTEC, it won't change from season to season. It will be almost similar throughout the year. The plant needs usual thermodynamic devices and equipment such as turbine, heat exchanger and condenser. So you have a usual thermodynamic devices. You can use the usual thermodynamic devices in this system. The useful byproduct from OTEC plant are desalinated water and nutrients from marine culture. So these byproducts are useful. So disposal doesn't have any problem. The plant can be constructed on shoreline or on floating platform. The plant of any size or capacity can be constructed at a suitable site. These are the advantages of OTEC. Coming to the limitations. As low temperature exists in upper surface and deep water, thereby plant has a very low efficiency in converting ocean thermal energy. Hence, a large plant size at huge cost, if size is big, the cost will be higher, has to be constructed to meet the power requirement. The design, operation and maintenance of flash evaporator in the open system is also a problematic one. The design of steam turbine to operate at low pressure is also a problematic. The large size of heat exchanger to work as boiler is also an issue while designing the closed system. The development of pumps suitable for handling large amount of water is also a problematic one. And also the long distance cable to transmit power to shore is required, because we have to harness it from the deep ocean or the bottom of the ocean and the surface of the ocean. So it requires a long distance cable. The plant has to withstand severe ocean conditions and storms. So it should withstand all the conditions. The plant equipment has to resist the corrosive effects of ocean water. The whole plant has to be constructed on floats. So we have to be very careful and we need more equipment. Equipment has to be installed at a greater depth to reach the cold water level. The plant at shoreline may require pipes of large diameter and length for handling water. Let's see what are the Indian efforts on this OTEC system. In the year 1998, National Institute of Ocean Technology, NIOT, in Goa, under the Ministry of Earth Sciences, embarked on the efforts towards setting up a 1 megawatt floating OTEC in 1000-meter water depth, about 40 km from the coastal city of Tuticorin. The baseline design conditions of this plant were gross power rating of 1 megawatt, temperature of warm water was 29 degrees centigrade, temperature of cold water was 7 degrees Celsius, warm water flow rate was 2100 kilogram per second, while the cold water flow rate was 1490 kilogram per second. And the working fluid flow rate was 31.6 kilogram per second. They got a net power plan of production of the power was 605 kilowatt. As part of the commissioning activities, various subsystem qualification tests were carried out on shore as well as in shallow waters. The OTEC barge Sagar Shakti was berthed near the port and many subsystem trials were carried out. Several trials in shallow waters also were carried out and subsystems qualified successfully. Finally, the 1000 long pipe of 1 meter diameter was towed 40 km to the desired site. Later, the same barge was used for mounting desalination equipment and fresh water was first generated in shallow water. So, the learning was used for setting up desalination plants using thermal gradient successfully. India has the distinction of setting up a low temperature thermal desalination plant in Kavaratti, Lakshadweep for the first time in 2005. The plant is running successfully using thermal gradient in the ocean even today, and it generates around 1 lakh litre per day. Subsequently, 2 more plants have been set up in islands of Agatti and Minicoy. A barge mounted plant of capacity 1 million litres per day was also demonstrated offshore on the same barge built for OTEC. So, to conclude, students, we have seen what is ocean thermal energy conversion system, and this is based on thermal gradient, and we have seen in the principle that the minimum difference in the temperature should be 20 degree centigrade between the surface water and the bottom water to harness the OTEC. We have seen different components of the OTEC plant like heat exchangers, turbines, seawater pumps, conduits, data acquisition control, etc. We have seen different types of OTEC system, and it is classified as closed cycle, open cycle. In open cycle, the waste water is not used while it comes out, while in the closed one it is recirculated. We have seen different advantages of this OTEC, like there is a steady power supply and there is no change in the season or any other thing. And the byproducts from this, like desalinated water and nutrients after the marine culture, are useful. But it has some limitation. The efficiency is low. Because of this, huge plant has to be constructed and it requires huge cost, and for the requirement of power or whatever power we require, we need to construct a bigger one. And also some design, operational maintenance of open cycle as well as closed cycle has to be a little bit problematic one. So, after overcoming this, it should be harnessed. In Indian condition, this OTEC has a future. The efforts under this OTEC was taken by the NIOT, which is National Institute of Ocean Technology, situated in Chennai, under the ministry, and they are working on the optimization of this OTEC harnessing. Thank you.